Okay, so how many of you remember basic chemistry?
Not me.
This is the pH scale. Okay? It basically, it describes acidity, right, and alkalinity. And 7 is neutral. Anything below 7 is acid. Anything above 7 is alkaline. So, first of all, you want to understand that foods that contain acid aren't necessarily acid forming, and that foods that are alkaline on the table aren't necessarily alkaline forming. So, someone told me yesterday in a conversation that we should be drinking alkaline water. Oh, I didn't know that, because I thought we should be drinking nature's perfect spring water, which tends to run between pH 6, slightly acidic, to pH 8, slightly alkaline. Okay, it doesn't need to be any more alkaline than that. It's perfectly fine. And making the water more alkaline does not make your body more alkaline. It doesn't work that way. It's about how your body interacts with the minerals in the substance, not the pH of the substance. So oranges, we talked about, pH, pretty low. pH 3, 3.5. That's pretty acidic. Okay? Anyone understand that, by the way, this is a logarithmic scale? What that means is that pH 6 is 10 times more acidic than pH 7. And pH 5 is 100 times more acidic than pH 7. And pH 4 is 1,000 times more acidic. pH 3 is 10,000 times more acidic than water. That's an orange. How about orange juice? It's in the same range. Lemon juice, 2.2, 2.3. Okay? It's almost 100,000 times more acidic than water. Doesn't take much lemon juice to take your teeth apart. Be careful if you choose to put it on your food. Okay? And don't bite into lemons and limes. Okay? Bad idea. But when we eat foods, they will have an impact on our alkalinity. And when we talk about our alkalinity, we're really talking about the blood. Now, one of the things people do, I can't remember the guy's name, the pH miracle, this whole thing, you'll measure your urine's pH. Why? It's a waste product. Who cares what the pH of urine is? The pH of urine is going to depend on what you've been consuming. Consume certain things, your urine's pH is going to be acidic. That doesn't mean you have a problem. That's exactly what should happen. Okay? But your blood has to be in a very narrow range. I just have trouble doing numbers upside down. See if I can get this right. Does that look like a 3? No, it's a 3 to me. It's not a 3 to you.
Why don't you write it facing toward you and then turn it around?
But that's no fun. Of course I can do that, but what fun is there in that? So your blood pH is between 7.35 and 7.45. Okay? That's where the blood pH must be. In fact, there's a condition that develops if it moves outside of this range. I always forget what it's called. Oh yeah, death. Okay? It has to stay in this range. So what happens if we eat acid-forming food? I think we're going to be done soon. What happens if you eat acid-forming food? Your pH tends to go down. Your blood pH tends to drop if you eat acid-forming food. So what will your body do if the blood pH is going down?
Rob other
It's going to look for some way to bring it back up. Now, your body can't make you go consume a bunch of alkaline-forming food. So what does it do?
Calcium.
It grabs calcium and other minerals from your bones because they're alkaline forming. And so osteoporosis is your virtually infinitely intelligent body doing what it needs to do to keep you alive given the crummy choices you've been making. Okay, you're creating this with your dietary choices. Okay? So acidic foods, that's what I was saying, right? Something that's acidic on the table, that doesn't mean it's acid forming. It's not. That's the point, right? People drink alkaline water thinking it's going to make them more alkaline. It doesn't work that way. It's not about the pH of the substance. sitting at room temperature on the table. It's about what happens when you consume it. Citrus, pineapples, kiwis, strawberries are all alkaline-forming foods. They might have a lot of acid in them, but they make your body more alkaline, not more acidic. Okay? These things are all perfect. So what are acid-forming foods? Anybody?
Grains.
Dairy,
Grains.
soda,
Grains.
grains,
Artificial sugar.
artificial sugar,
Meat.
processed sugar, animal products.
Bread.
Exactly.
Bread is grains.
Protein.
Protein,
Amino
excess
acids.
protein. These are all acid forming. What's not acid forming then? Fruit and raw vegetables. The only ones which we can really digest, soft, tender, leafy greens. Okay, that's our diet. Anything else we eat is tending us to lose bone density as the body tries to protect itself from falling pH. Does this make sense? You guys clear about this? Yeah.
Are there any exceptions in the fruit world? Are there any fruit that are
Not as far as I know.
Will kale, if we choose to consume it, be acid forming in the body or alkaline?
Well, theoretically, it should be alkaline forming. But when we can't digest something and it creates digestive issues as a result, I'm not so sure there's an alkaline forming result from that. Any questions about this?
What about water? Are they alkaline forming?
Water? Theoretically, water is neutral. Now, water is usually not neutral, right? Why not?
Because it comes in a plastic bottle.
Because it contains minerals and other things. Theoretically, water should be pH 7, but it isn't usually. I mean, our water is usually, we've measured every 3 or 4 months, we send a sample to a laboratory in San Jose, make sure it's still safe because it's coming out of the ground, and it's usually between 6.8 and 7.2. But it's rarely exactly 7. Sometimes it might be. It's going to vary. Now, some people sometimes ask, we talk about this, well, if we're living on exclusively or primarily, almost exclusively alkaline-forming foods, are we also going to create a problem? Because we don't want the blood to become too alkaline. It is possible to create something called alkalosis, like acidosis, right? Except it's too high a pH, but it's not easy to do. And it doesn't happen from eating too many apples or oranges. How does it happen? It happens when we eat too much acid-forming food, and the body, in an effort to protect itself, floods the bloodstream with alkaline products like calcium, driving the pH temporarily too high.